Hey, happy Wine Wednesday.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country. Happy Wine Wednesday. It's the Wine Happy Hour. Mira Boucher, good evening. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you, Carl Boucher?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It's Lakeside Cellar week. It's travel week. It's one of the greatest freaking week of the year because you know what? We're going to Ontario. We'll be Niagara tomorrow morning. I'm just getting a bunch of email from Thomas Batchelder, how excited he is to host us and to see our members. I'm getting emails from Stratus Vineyard and Bellaterra and Big Head. So it's going to be an epic weekend. I can't wait to jump on the plane. But before we jump on the plane, we need to talk Lakeside Cellar because I believe this is outside of Bellaterra and Da Silva. It has to be the winery that will feature the most in Carl's Wine Club history. Not because it always been one of my favorite. I did not know Lakeside Cellar before we started Carl's Wine Club. I didn't. I was super pleased at the first time. And guess what? Tell us why we're keeping featuring them. Just their one reason. It's just because members. That's it. And members keep asking. So, and every year they're getting better and they're getting better and better. I mean, this is a new winery. They started in 2015. It's not even like they haven't been
9 years.
like, eh?
So 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. But in terms of vintage, they their first vintage was 2015. Now they're releasing 2020. So in red, so 23 in whites. But man, the progression of that winery and the flavors of the wines and the style is just keep going better, refined. Like I love what they're doing. So I can't wait to review our selection this week. I have to be a little fast because we have to hit the road. Our flight is in a few hours, so we have to drive to Kelowna. Before that, we have to do a stop at the arena to drop off the kids at hockey. So anyway, we have right now 40 minutes, rapid fire. We were also in Washington State last week. If you missed the show, go back and give it a listen. It's pretty cool. We did a little tasting at a tasting bar in Seattle. It was pretty darn cool. So yeah, Lakeside Cellar. Do you want me to start with the first white that I have here, Mira?
Yes. What do you have there?
I don't know. Okay, let's keep going because I mean every week now it's something.
So we're not going to talk Lakeside Cellars. You're saying you want to do the blind tasting first.
I want to do the white first so I can get my wine clear so I can pour some bubbles because I have some Lakeside bubbles here that I would like to pour in my glass. I don't have an extra glass. So every week now, it's been a month that we're doing the same thing. Mira's pouring 3 wines completely blind to me, and I have no clue. The only thing that I know is what I have in the house. Out of the 500 bottles of wines, I know what's in the house, so that can be anything. It can be anything. So that's the fun part. We just want to take the preconceived notion of the label before we taste, right? So while tasting, scoring the wine completely blind. So I don't know. My goal is not necessarily to nail exactly what's in the glass. If I do, it's pretty cool. The last 2 weeks I got 2 out of 3. I badly missed on the third one in each side, but that's a totally different story. But yeah, so let's start with the white. I mean, this is really crisp and bright, okay? So this is something northernly, okay? This is north, like it's something cool, like true definition of cool climate. That's what I have in my glass, to my opinion. Maybe not on the palate though.
On the palate, it's more.
Yeah. There's more texture.
Yeah. What are you tasting? What are you smelling?
I don't smell a ton. I smell a lot of green apple.
Okay.
Green apple, white flowers. Karen says it has to be Sauvignon Blanc. I mean, it truly can be because we have a shitload of Sauvignon Blanc open so far in the house. That can be that, definitely. But I think this is the blend. This is more a blend Sauvignon Blanc with something else. But this doesn't have the true Sauvignon Blanc smell. So I'm a little confused here.
Yeah, I'm not getting any Sauvignon Blanc smells on
No. There's not. Like to me, it's more like a Chardonnay, almost like an unoaked, really crisp and bright Chardonnay, like the one that I messed up from the Niagara College unoaked Chardonnay a couple of like 3 weeks ago. So this is an 89 points to my opinion.
The Pinot Meunier is an inside joke because that one tripped up Carl. We had a white Pinot Meunier once, and he said, if that's not, what did he say? A Sauvignon Blanc. Was it a Sauvignon Blanc?
I promised everyone around that I would walk home if it was not Sauvignon Blanc. And I was 35 minutes away drive. I was 35 minutes drive from home. And I said, if it's not Sauvignon Blanc, I'm going to walk home. And it was not.
White Pinot Meunier. What are the odds of that?
White Pinot Meunier.
Pretty rare.
So, yeah, you're tripping me here, Mira. I don't fucking know what's in there.
All right,
no
are you ready for the reveal? Because we have to
89 plus, I would say probably I like if it's $25, if it's $25, I like that. I'm not a fan of the nose. There's not a ton. It's floral. There's green fruit in there. It doesn't tell me a ton, but the palate is quite. It's quite satisfying. So yeah, tell me what's in there.
I'm pretty sure it's sold out because I'm not finding it on their website. But Karen might be able to help us out. It is a 2020 Aurora from Lakeside Cellars, who are at the Wine Village.
Ha ha ha.
And I don't know the full details, but on the back it says Pinot Gris. So I'm guessing there might be a blend, but on the back it talks about Pinot Gris. So
which vintage is that? 2020. Yeah.
2020. So that's where you're getting maybe on the palate.
Yeah.
Age, right?
I mean, it's not bad. Like I said, 89. 89 point. But I'd say if it's more than $25 though, I'm going down to 88 plus. So
okay. Well, definitely it's an enjoyable wine. We had it. I snuck it out to my parents just now. They're having chicken. They said they were pretty happy with it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey.
No, it's satisfying. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. It's a nice wine for like a Wednesday night chicken meal like we're having. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, did you want to do another blind taste, or did you want to talk a little more about Lakeside first?
I want to talk Lakeside Cellar because look at that color here.
Oh boy, look at that. That's a bubbly, isn't it? Yeah.
This is their first traditional method wine, a Blanc de Noir. They planted, I think it's in 2019, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier on their Golden Mile. So it's the Testalinden Vineyard, a Golden Mile slope, specifically in purpose of doing doing sparkling wine traditional method. So this is the 2020 vintage. So when they harvested the 2020, The Meunier was not ready yet, so it's 100% Pinot Noir. But darn that I like the color, a slight salmon color. I mean, this is not the greatest sparkling in the face of planet Earth, but what gets me super excited is the potential, the long-term potential of that wine, because it's the first harvest ever from that vineyard on the Pinot Noir. Pinot Meunier is going to be ready soon. Ricky and his team are getting their hand, are getting the tweak how to make traditional method, and it's already good. So to see the progression over the years for that Blanc de Noir, it's really, really cool. 18 months on lease, great texture. It's a little angular right now. Bright acid, I would say energetic, bright bubbles. I like that, and I put that in the bonus option. I wanted to start with that because I think it's fresh and it's exciting for the future. There's a little bit more baked apple on the second day. I left that bottle open overnight for 2 days now. The bubble is still in there. The brioche went kind of away. It's a little bit more like a apple crumble. It's really, really interesting. So yeah, so that's one of the bonus options. So let's start with their classic. So what we wanted to do with that feature with Lakeside, because the core of their white wine portfolio is Sauvignon Blanc. And I'm a big fan of their Sauv Blanc. It grows, it's like vine planted in 1998. So we're talking here 25 years old vines. These vines always been healthy. They have survived the frost this year because they're at the very end. They're at the tip of all of Osoyoos Lake. So they're at the very end of Osoyoos. They were not as affected as anyone else across the valley. But yeah, so the Sauvignon Blanc is really the core of their white program. And they do the Sauvignon Blanc Bubbly, which has been so popular among the club over the years. Is that it's also, this is the first bottle that Mira ever savor. I kept the empty bottle, I kept the lid, but the bottle of bubbly, I believe, was with the 2020 vintage. She savored her first bottle, and it was Lakeside Cellars. So I still have that clear picture of when that happened. So yeah, and it's a $23 Sauvignon Blanc bubbly, Charmat method, but really, really, really cool stuff. So that's option number one. The second, it's the Sauvignon Blanc still wine, which is made from the best barrel of their Sauvignon Blanc, stainless steel, true reflection of the fruit. And I gave that Sauvignon Blanc a 91 point. And also there's that Portage White. So they're $23 white blend, which is blend with two different Muscat. Muscat White and also Muscat, that maybe New York Muscat, I believe. So two type of Muscat with a 50% Sauvignon Blanc make I would say, a friendly white blend that's super versatile, that is very well priced, super approachable. So that's the kind of, I'm crushing a bottle of white on the patio today. It's the perfect thing for that. So yeah, so that's the 3 iteration of Sauvignon Blanc from Lakeside Cellar. So we've decided to go with the 3 bottles to go with the white. So 91 for the Sauv Blanc, 91 or 90 plus for the bubbly, and 90 points for the Portage White, if I'm correct, if I remember my my scores and notes properly. But
I'm very put it in the comments. So if you guys are curious, you can check out the scores and notes for yourselves here. This is the link.
So yeah. Yeah, that bubbly, that Blanc de Noir is really, really cool. So, and now moving with on the red.
Yes, I mean, we're excited about these reds.
Yeah, because there's a few things what's excite me that much about Lakeside is first and foremost is the price point. The price point is freaking bang on. I mean, again, how many times do we mention it that now it's pretty rare to find a great red wine with body, with complexity, with finish under $30. It's pretty darn hard to these days, unless you go with the these IDB wine, like a mix of all of these, the kitchen sink stuff or the Chilean or anyway. So Lakeside are still right there as one of the most affordable but producing premium wine. And we have it with single varietals who are very keep the typicity of the varietal. So we have this week, we have a Syrah, a Cab Sauv, a Cab Franc. So we have 3 single varietals who are very true to their varietals and very true to where they are from. So I mean, a Syrah from the Naramata Bench has a complete different delivery than a Syrah from Osoyoos or a Syrah from the Golden Miles. So that's what Lakeside is offering, and that's what we have this week with a couple of exclusive. Because the Syrah that we have, a $33 Syrah, a $32 Syrah, which is not very common anymore, 100%, and 2020 vintage, which is a great vintage, clean vintage for the South Okanagan, $32. I give it a 91 plus, and I was debating. I was on the verge of 92 because the price point is so tempting, but the wine is great. I mean, it's plush. There's spice. There's a little smokiness. There's everything that you want from a South Okanagan Syrah. So the price point is one of my favorite attribute to this wine at $32. So, and that I'll let you look around. $32, you can't find Syrah anywhere else. I mean,
from BC anyway. Yeah.
From BC. This wine is not available outside of their wine club. If you're not a wine club member at Lakeside, you don't have access to that wine. So Danielle, Beverly, and Ricky and their team gave Carl's Wine Club access for that. And we've already seen some people taking advantage today, ordering like 6 packs and even a case of 12 of that. So it's a great Syrah. It doesn't break the bank, and that varietal typicity that we're looking for. Though it's not my highlight of the single varietal. And usually I'm a big fan of Cab Franc from Ontario, from great vintage. But their Cab Franc this year, the release of the 2020 was my rock star single varietal wine, because there's a wine who topped that one up, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. But that pre-release, this wine is not on the market yet. But I'll tell you, ready to be drank, because it's soft, it's round, there's a tannin there, but it's my style of wine. This wine will age very well for 6-7 years, maybe 8, no problem. But this is one of the top-rated single varietal Cab Franc that I had from BC. I can't recall to rate a 92 plus Cab Franc. It's $30 on the dot. So again, it doesn't break the bank. It's an honest price point. It's a great vintage, and it over-delivers a ton. I put it side by side. I even cracked a couple premium Cabernet Franc from Ontario because I wanted to test it. And even from very top producers, I mean, Lakeside was still, I had it with a $45 Cab Franc last night from Ontario, and still it was overperforming that wine. So this is definitely, I would challenge everyone to stay next year, because now all of the big awards are gone, are over. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that wine next year bringing some pretty solid hardware. This is my my prediction. That's my prediction.
August
That's my
28th,
prediction.
2024. So let's see when the awards come out next, June, if you called it or not. Hey, speaking of that, so that's last November, we did our Cab Franc marathon. Only 54 bottles of Cab Franc back then. You weren't as crazy as you go now. But your top 10, I mean, your number one was a $65 Stonebridge Reserve Cab Franc at 94 points. Then the Bellaterra Cab Franc, 94 points.
Which these two wines made my top 10 wine of the year. My top 10 wine of the year the last 2 years. Bellaterra 2 years ago, and Stonebridge last year.
Yep.
Let's keep that in mind.
Your number 3 last year was the Big Head 18 Cab Franc. We're going to be at Big Head on Saturday, by the way. If anyone is in the Niagara area and wants to join us, we have 4 spots left for the tour day that day. So that was the 93-point Big Head. Then you had a Painted Rock Cab Franc at 92 plus for $63.34, including tax. So that was your top-rated BC Cab Franc at the time. And this is the same score, but half the price, almost. So, yeah, I mean, they're not apples to apples. Like, you still get a different experience, obviously, with a wine like Painted Rock. But score-wise,
I know. For general enjoyment, so what's that mean? Is that Lakeside Cab Franc provided me as much enjoyment as the Painted Rock.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. Given the price point.
So that's big, right? So, okay, so that's the Cab Franc 92 plus. There's the Cab Sauv that I have to say that Mira went a little bit more giddy on the Cab Sauv than I did the night that I tasted it. But I have to say, this is growing on me in the last day and a half. I'll say something. Again, $30 on the dot. It's 13.5% alcohol, so it's not an over extracted hot type of Cabernet Sauvignon. But there's body, there's richness. It's South Okanagan. There's spice, but there's that pencil lead, graphite, minerality of that Cabernet Sauvignon that really stands out. So I gave it a 90 plus, I believe, or a 91. But this has the potential. I might have. Yeah, I'm not sure, but maybe I underrated that wine.
This is the Cab Sauv Lakeshore Vineyard 2020. Same price as the Cab Franc, so $30 plus tax, $34.60 including tax, and you gave it 90 plus for this one.
The texture is opening up. I mean,
nice. The thing about when we retaste the wines, you do learn so much retasting them over a couple days.
Absolutely, and this wine was open on Sunday night. I mean, yeah. That's the first one of the bunch that I opened. $34.60 with tax, 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, single vineyard. This is totally worth the try. I think I underrated that wine. Tasting it again tonight. This is really beautiful. It was a little bit stiff when I opened it the other night. I tasted it on Monday morning as well. But it was 5:45 a.m. when I tasted it. Maybe I confused the Cab Sauv with my coffee. No, I'm just joking.
Although I got to tell you guys the funniest thing. So when Carl is tasting wine early in the morning, as he likes to, his palate is nice and ready for that. But once in a while, he gets the coffee out at the tail end of it. He takes one more little sip of something and he spits it into his coffee that he just made. It's pretty funny. And that's when I know Carl is awake, because he starts, tabarnak, and all his French swearing.
And guess what? This is a true story. This is absolutely a true story. And it probably happened to me 90% of the time. when I do early morning tasting.
Yeah, if you get the
It's
coffee going after
always
the tasting,
freaking happen because I
you gotta
spit
put the
in a
wine
cup.
away first.
Yeah. Anyway, so that capsule might be underrated, but I'm happy with that. The price point is fantastic. So Syrah, Capsule, Cap Franc, single varietal, South Okanagan red, classic, typical varietal. I'm super happy with that. And what happened here is this wine. Oh no, not this one. Or is it? There you go. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna reorganize.
So many wines, so little
Yes,
space.
that's the Provenir. The Provenir is their
Oh, that was
flagship wine. Uh, and the thing with Provenir, I always thought that was a good, not a fantastic Bordeaux blend from the South Okanagan. I think that was good. Always been super well priced, so there's nothing to yap at Provenir. Now they just released the 2019 of the Provenir, which is their third vintage, their fourth vintage, I believe. But it is by far, the progression of that wine has been astonishing. This vintage is so much better and more complex and more subtle, more everything that every other Provenir. And I tasted them all since they started. I've tasted all of their Provenir, and this one is head and shoulder better than all of the previous iteration of the Provenir. Like usual, a third of Merlot, Cap Franc, Cap Sauve. But this one, and I blind tasted Mira after I finished my early morning tasting on Monday morning. I asked Mira to put an order on which was her favorite wine of all the wine that she had in front of her. And she said, by far, it was the Provenir, without knowing that it was the Provenir. And she said it was by far the best one. And I have to agree with her. The others are all gray wines, but Provenir have stepped up as the very best of the Provenir since the beginning of Lakeside Cellar. And it's not even close. 2019, to me, was one of my favorite vintage. But you see, the improvement and the progression of Ricky's team making their wines, and this is fire. This is a beautiful Bordeaux blend. There's complexity, there's length, there's bright fruit, but there's a personality in there, in the sense that it's a colder vintage. It's not a heavy wine. It's a 14% wine, but with verve, with like, it's not stiff, but it's not heavy. I really love that.
Just have someone looking for a charger here. I totally agree. And hey, you have two more wines to blind taste. So let's wrap up the rapid fire on the insights on Lakeside, because there is another one that we just have to talk to. I mean, they're all amazing, but have you talked about the
we haven't talked about the Cap Merlot. No, and that's why I kept them for the end, because it was planned. It was all on purpose. I wanted to wrap up and to come in at the end to say, again, the biggest reason why I wanted to feature Lakeside is because of their affordable price. And that Cab Merlot is the poster child of what Lakeside is doing the best. It's a fantastic red blend at a $26 price range. And you don't see that anymore. $30 including tax. This is not common anymore.
For BC reds especially.
Yes, and it's not a smoky vintage. It's a clean vintage. It's from the 2020. This wine, usually the entry-level wines, they would be a 22. Like wineries are releasing their 22 ready to drink reds, right? They're just releasing their 2020. This wine has aged a bit. It's round. It's soft. It's good to go, but it's $26. When we talk about outperforming your price point, that's why I wanted to talk about it at the end, to hammer the point that Lakeside is doing it across the portfolio. And the Cab Merlot, which is the two cabs, so 35% Cab Franc. There's a good, no, is it 30? No, I think it's 45 Franc, 40% Merlot, and a chunk of Cab Sauv. But I mean, from Merlot with the 10% Cab Franc, Cab Sauv. So I mean, there's everything in that wine, including a fantastic price point. And that's why I posted today about this is a buy by the case type of wine. If you're expecting a celebration or a party or something coming up in the fall, or a summer wrap up with friends, get a 6-pack of that, put that on the table. You'll feed everyone at home, and everyone's going to be like, holy shit, what is that? That delivers like a $32 wine, no problem at all. Even if they increase their price from 24 to 26 in the last 18 months, which is not outrageous, it's just following what's happening with everything out there. But yeah, so that concludes the Lakeside Cellar portfolio, the feature we have this week. Again, I'm thrilled and excited because it's South Okanagan, typical big reds with a nice Sauvignon Blanc platform, but all the reds are so overperforming their price point. Mira, do you have anything you would like to add about Lakeside? I already told everyone that Provenir was your favorite, but do you have any other?
I do have to say, their whites and their bubblies are some of our favorites as well. And they get overshadowed a little bit because we talk about the reds so much. It's so exciting to find good quality, good value reds in BC like that. And how nice and bold and full they are being from the South Okanagan. But they have an amazing Sauv Blanc. They have old vines on their property of Sauv Blanc, but they've also planted newer vines, right? So the bubbly, the traditional method is made with the newer Sauv Blanc vines, I believe. Carl, is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're still Sauvignon Blanc comes from the old vines, the best selection of it.
It's one of our favorites. So refreshing and enjoyable. And where was it that we recently had? Was it at our last live? Yeah, I think it was at our last live where we were tasting some Sauv Blancs from up here. We had the River Stone and the Bellaterra, I think.
Yeah.
And then we tasted some Washington State stuff. And there's just nothing that compared to that complexity. And Lakeside is in that pool of those kinds of wines that are just so nice. And so I think the whites, they're underrated in the sense that I think they're great value as well. And they're just so delicious. So that's Lakeside. We love it. There is the option to buy a hat.
By the way.
Yes, you can buy a hat. It's fun.
We have the hat as well available. I walked there and they offer me a hat. So I'm super thrilled. I'm traveling with my hat tonight to Ontario. I'm super thrilled about that hat. And you can get your Lakeside hat if you're a fan as well. So it's going to be shipped with your wine. Great deal on shipping as well. And also 2 wines that you cannot get anywhere. 2 exclusive, the Cab Franc and the Syrah. So that's for Lakeside Cellar. Take advantage of that. This is a fantastic feature. And once again, the 4th time with Carl's Wine Club. So if you have friends that say they don't really like Canadian wines because it's not ripe enough and
we can't do reds well.
Yeah, and they're overpriced. I challenge you to convert them with Lakeside Cellar.
Absolutely. It's totally the one to do it. So free shipping and the exclusive wines, the exclusive pre-release on the Cab Franc, 92 plus points, I think, and the wine club only wine that we have access to, the Syrah, that ends Sunday night. So don't miss out. If you were thinking of trying this one out, it's totally the right time. And there's low flat rate shipping for less than $2.50. So you could always just order a couple bottles if you really want to just see what they're all about. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, and the Provenier, the Provenier is outstanding, best Provenier we had to date. So, okay,
yes.
So I have 2 wines in my glass now. Still,
yes, I want you to blind taste these last 2 wines. You got less than 10 minutes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So there's something who's really jumping out at me. Is there's one quality wine and one non-quality wine, and
no.
I didn't taste, and I didn't taste it. I smell them uniquely. The wine on my right, so not the middle one, but the right one, smells like plunk. And
wow. Tell me more about this.
It smells like cheap wine. It smells manufactured. It smells like acetone, like shoe shining stuff. We don't have that. And you know why it jumps at me so much, Mira? It's because we don't have that in our house often. It's very rare that a wine like that comes into our house, and I can smell it from a mile away. So this is the $5 Syrah from Washington State, and the middle one now I need to, because I know we bought a bottle in the States just for fun. Yeah. And I've never tasted. I was excited because I thought it might be round and plush, and no, the nose of that, it's excruciating.
So I was gonna say, because it's really interesting, I haven't tasted very much Blanc wine in my life, because of course I'm spoiled here. I got to learn wine through Carl's Wine Club, exclusively tasting so many wines that are amazing. And I was gonna say, like, okay, there's certain smells and tastes in this that I have never smelled or tasted in a wine. And I was like, is this just because I don't know international wine that well? Like it's mainly Canadian wine, or is it because it's so cheap? It's very sort of manufactured wine. Yeah. What are you doing?
Making room in my spit cup, but I made a mess. Well, it's not a good idea. 1 second.
Okay. You're making room in your spit cup for the wine you don't like.
There you go.
Yeah, it's so true. So when you taste this this first one, which you're correct, is not an inexpensive wine. I mean, it's a good value, I think, but not inexpensive.
So I tasted. Let's talk about that wine, the middle one that you just served me, Mira.
Yeah. So
I don't think that it's a single varietal. I think it's a blend here. I see a sequence of different things coming up in my mouth. It's not angular. It's a little bit more. So I kind of compared that a little bit to the Provenier, but with not as much body. So there's some similarity in these 2 wines. It's not as plush and round, but there's kind of similarity to that. There's probably Merlot in that, Merlot Cab Franc in that wine, I would say. There's a little bit of blue fruit coming out as well. So
you're right on the Merlot.
There's also a line.
No Cab Franc, though. You're right on the Merlot, but no Cab Franc. Yeah.
Is there any Malbec?
Yes.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. There's that blue fruit, the violet. Who comes out of that. Yeah. So there's that. But I mean, yeah, if it's a wine under $30, it's very, very intriguing. To me, it's at least a 91 point. I like that a lot. If it's under $30.
It's not under $30.
No?
Mm-mm.
Huh.
You're not super far off, but it's definitely not under 30.
You know what? There's a minerality in that wine, though. A crunchy fruit. there's a line of minerality, stony minerality. That's that's might be Cab Sauv in there that really bring that
That is a bit of
graphite
Cab.
sensation. And I can see that at the 91 point, unless it's over 40. If it's over 40, I'm down. I'm done with the 91. It says a very good wine. That's a very, very good wine. Yeah.
Nice.
It
So
dries up my mouth,
it
and it's super young though. This is very, very young, because if Provenir it's 2019, this is at least 2 years younger, at least. Yeah, it's still a little dusty, but it's a really intriguing wine. I love that a lot. 91 points.
Nice. Well, I got to tell you, okay, the reveal. This is a wine that I think just was recently bottled. I'm not even sure if it's released yet, but it's our winery of the year for BC.
Oh, they're stone. Which vintage?
2020.
Oh, it's 20. Okay.
Yeah, Riverstone 2020 Stone's Throw. Just if it hasn't been released, it will be very soon, I believe. But yeah, that's our winery of the year. We're doing the party there September 21st for any members that are able to come to BC for that. The counterpart of what we're doing in Niagara this weekend with Thomas Batchelder. And
you have some following in your head. Like I like the way you're thinking, connecting the dot tonight with what we're doing tomorrow. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool the way you're thinking.
Riverstone is pretty fantastic. They always send us their new releases like right before they get released. I think it's such a smart idea just to get us being able to chat about it and know about it. And they sent us those just like 3 days ago or so. So yeah, I thought we should open that up. Winery of the year. This is part of why they're the winery of the year. They're very thoughtful like that. They're really awesome. So you
know what? I put in the box their big dog, the Cornerstone, who's coming with us to Niagara. The bottle is already there. So I shipped the bottle 2 days ago when we got it. So we're gonna have the people who are with us in Niagara will have the chance to taste the Cornerstone from Riverstone. So and I would like to open that bottle maybe with no, it's already there, Daryl. Don't worry, it's already at Bellaterra. The box arrived this morning. Ricardo texted me, got your wine, so it's in there. And I have a couple treats for you, Daryl. Couple of older Merlot that I shipped over so we can enjoy together and geek out on Merlot. You need to give me your trick how to find out about Merlot on blind taste, because I look like an idiot the last 2 weeks on blind tasting Merlot. So I need your help on that.
You have reversed that trend. So tonight you said Merlot, and this Stone's Throw is 73% Merlot.
I told you last week, Mira, that I'm going to call Merlot on anything now.
Yeah, just like you say Pinot Meunier on everything now, right? Cab Sauv 11%, 12% Malbec, and 4% Petit Verdot, and it's 13% alcohol. Not bad.
No, that's it's
good.
I feel the angularity of it, and there's that tension of it. So yeah, no, I'm happy with.
So in stark contrast, you were correct, Carl. Like Carl knew that we recently raided Trader Joe's in Washington State, and I've often heard about these like $2, $3, $4, $5 wines at Trader Joe's.
5 minutes,
they have one on sale right now for $5.99 US, which with tax. And I was almost going to say and tip, but I guess there's probably no tips at grocery stores, hopefully. But with tax and exchange rate in BC, $5.99 US would be something like $11 or $12 Canadian. And so that's what we got. A Syrah from Washington State. Okay. It's called the Originals 22 Washington State Syrah.
Oh, yeah, right there.
And they're apparently made in Walla Walla, Washington. Very inexpensive. And I have to say, as much as it is, like you said, plonk compared to what we normally would be tasting, A lot of
Yeah, I mean,
people.
I didn't even taste it. And I don't want to taste it. Like the nose is enough. The nose is enough. I have no desire of tasting it. No
Oh,
desire
come
at
on, just
all.
take one taste. I'm just curious.
No, I'm not. I'm not. The nose is enough. Like I've never had a plate to really stink and taste very good. I've never had that. I've never went anywhere in my life where something who truly stinks would taste very good.
So I have to say it's drinkable. It's almost, you could say, enjoyable, given the price point. That said, what I compare it to is a little bit like having like a processed cheese on a grilled cheese or Cheese Whiz. When you're used to having fine French cheese or something like that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a no for me, and not because I want to be pretentious or anything. It truly reeks. So yeah, it's manufactured
now we
wine,
know.
and
Now we know. I was always curious how these less expensive wines taste. So
exactly. So
there you go. But
hey,
you're right.
Mira,
I mean, definitely, I pick it up too for my limited knowledge on wines. My palate at least has had some exercise, and I pick it up right away too. I'm like, there's just some things about it it's not what we normally see in a wine. So anyway, now we know.
Okay, I have to run. If you want to finish on your own, you can finish solo if you want. I have to run to get the kids to the arena for the hockey practice. But we'll be back to grab my backpack, to go to the to get my suitcase, to get to the airport, because we're in the air tonight, arriving in Toronto tomorrow morning. So Niagara, here we come, and we'll be posting about Lakeside Cellar all week long, because that's our feature, and we are thrilled to have all of our people tasting South Okanagan, fantastic affordable wines. So that's what we have this week. Mira Boucher, Carl's Wine Club members, Canadian wine lovers, wish you a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll chat with you next time.
Yes. And I think I'm going to sign off too, because what else can I say? Other than we're so excited to be in Niagara. We can't wait to see you guys. There are some spots left, both on Friday for vineyard touring with Thomas Batchelder, and on Saturday for the incredible winery touring that we're doing. This is not normal winery touring. Each stop has a totally different theme. We're going to be doing, a theme around blind tasting at Big Head. We're going to be doing food pairings with our lunch and tasting at Fair Ox. We're going to be, the first stop of the day, we're going to be tasting like amphora wine versus wine that's been aged in barrel versus wine aged in stainless steel. And then the last stop of the day at Bellaterra on Saturday is going to be blending our own white wine, which is crazy and fun and so not a normal wine tour. So we had some people with health issues that had to back out last minute. And we also had poor Richard and Twyla da Silva. Their winery got flooded and is in a horrible situation right now. On the Naramata bench, because city water main burst in front of the winery, completely destroyed their parking lot, and like crush pad, and a lot of equipment had to be moved out of the way and all that. So unfortunately, they were going to be there with us on Friday and Saturday, and they cannot come. So we have some spots. So if anybody is listening that are in the Niagara, Toronto area, you want to join us on Friday for vineyard touring with Thomas Batchelder himself, the man, the myth, the legend, our winery of the year celebration, and on Saturday, winery touring like Carl's Wine Club style, behind the scenes. So much fun. We do have, I believe, 4 spots for each one. So reach out to me, or you can go to our website and go to the events and book in with us. And we'll see you then. Thanks, Daryl. Safe trip to you guys as well. Drive safely. We'll see you in Niagara. We'll report back next week. Very soon, you'll see from us also a sort of ongoing feature with Da Silva Vineyards to help them out. This is the winery I just mentioned, had the water main break, and they're temporarily closed while they try to figure out what to do with that whole situation and the huge amount of damage it's caused to their winery. We are going to make their wines available for members to purchase online. So lots of great things coming up. Stay tuned. I'm sure we'll have lots of great posts coming out of Niagara in the next few days. And thanks for stopping by. Happy Wine Wednesday. Cheers, guys. Oh, he's back. Cheers.